welcome to another beautiful match of Hollow Knight All Skills. Today we have a really cool matchup between Xero and Blue. This is going to be super interesting considering the fact that both of these runners' PVs are within 7 seconds of each other, so get ready for a really close race today. I am Herm, and joining me on the mic is my dear friend Virgil.
Hello. Yep, this will definitely, as Herm has mentioned, be an interesting run, but as some people in chat are pointing out, both runners are very skilled, but they're slightly rusty at the 1-2-2-1 patch, which will be what we are working with today. So maybe we'll get to see some tidbits of just muscle memories from other patches, especially current patch.
Yes, we might see some current patch muscle memory, as well as for Blue has been dedicating himself to 112% all Pantheon bosses, which is a brutal category, so we may see some muscle memory from that as well, as in addition to the fact that it's current patch. Boy, is there a lot going on in that run. So yes, in terms of patches, it is 1-2-2-1. This is sort of our quote-unquote fast patch, as opposed to the most recent patch of the game. It lets us do some little skips and tricks that we'll be pointing out throughout the run, but we'll be getting started very shortly here.
Yep, and as the timer just struck 3 p.m. EST, I will be counting down the runners really soon.
Yes, and then other brief note, we do run the game on simplified Chinese, as it's where text scrolls fastest, and maybe throughout the run, since Virgil is a fluent Chinese speaker, we'll see some commentary on that. But it will be very fun and starting very soon as countdown is a go, so we'll just be waiting for some stream delay here.
Yep. And as I guess we can mention for both Herm and I, we did prepare a few jokes, and thanks to the Hollow Knight Discord, I love you guys by the way, we have a lot of jokes prepped for today, including 2 knock-knock jokes. One which is coming up as soon as the runners attempt to break free of King's Path.
Yes, so speaking of breaking free, you'll see them sort of open that menu to get early control, and then they inventory drop to cancel their hard fall. So now we're going through King's Pass, up-slashing those doors so that we aren't knocked back one little bit. And yes, get ready for the King's Pass door and the Abyss door are the 2 doors we've decided to use our knock-knock jokes for. So many thanks to Slort, especially for running 26 of those for us. That's truly incredible, and also just a great amount of creativity. But for now, we'll see a little sync, and then these runners are just sort of making their way through the basic tutorial area of the game.
Yep, okay, as the door is coming up, I guess. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Oh wait, oops.
I
don't have the joke pulled up.
Okay, knock knock.
Who's there?
Pale
or who?
Pale or not, always wear your sunscreen. That's right. Virgil and I are supportive of UV protection. Even though the night does not experience much sun here in Hollow Nest, we are happy to provide you with a sunscreen-related Hollow Knight joke. Many thanks to Slort for writing that one.
Yep.
And now you'll see the runners head into Crossroads.
Yeah, just want to mention that since Blue does do Pantheon runs, this joke is kind of relevant in the way that you gotta use your sunscreen against radiance, you know. UV protection is very important.
That's really true. You know, we talk about many items that these runners will be picking up, like that Vengeful Spirit they'll be getting soon, but also a truly underrated Metroidvania power-up is the sunscreen, as if you're going to be fighting the sun, you might as well protect yourself as much as possible.
Yep, now coming up in this arena, as we just saw Blue perform and Xero is currently doing, is the spike kill. There is a spike falling down from the ceiling, and the runners will be positioning themselves in a way where they can redirect the spike with their nail and kill 1 or 2 aspects in that arena.
And it looks like they both got 1, so that's obviously not what you're going for entirely. You want to get both at once, but it does keep them nice and even, which I think everybody is here for a close race today, so that's pretty exciting so far. And you'll see them very soon after going through these rooms, which are pretty movement-based, just working with cycles and stuff. They'll go up and fight the first boss of the game, which is False Knight.
A lovely marshmallow boy. And looks like Xero, I think, went for the statue pogo there in that last room. A really short time skip, but really cool when people pull it off.
Yes, and in the end, this sort of Vengeful Spirit slip is super optimized, so anything you can do to just shave a little bit of time is nice, but in the end, the big making or breaking of this run will come in the second half. There are a lot of places where you can unfortunately die, and we'll hope that these runners can get through it cleanly, as some of those pieces can get a bit ugly sometimes. But for now, we'll fight False Knight, and when we say fight, we mean we'll beat him up, hitting him with our nail about 21 times, and then we'll sort of leave, because we are tired of his shenanigans, and we seek spells, and not a city quest.
Yep. Looks like Blue and Xero should be about 2 seconds behind Blue, but they are still on each other's tail, and now that they're heading into the Ancestral Mount and receiving their first lovely spell called Vengeful Spirit.
Vengeful Spirit's going to be very important in this early part of the run where we do not have a dash. We're going to be using it as an air stall for some fireball skips that hopefully these runners will be able to nail coming up. But yeah, we'll see their times at pickup very shortly.
Also, just to mention that, don't worry, if anyone hasn't played through a Hollow Knight casual playthrough, neither of the runners are dead. When I first saw that animation of your knight just flopping onto the ground, I really thought that was going to be an instant kill feature. But it's okay, we're all good. Instead, that whenever you receive a spell in Hollow Knight, the soul gauge actually gets refilled to the brim. So we might see some of the runners use that to the advantage so that they will maybe full heal sometimes before receiving a spell so that they don't waste any of that soul.
Yes, and that is very much true, especially with those later pickups where you can be in an area that's a bit of a yikes. Getting to it, some of these other mounds later in the game can be a bit scary, but here we want to save that soul because we need to get from this boulder, which Xero is getting trolled by right now. It is spitting infection. Xero needs a little boulder, which he just got right there, to get enough soul to finish off this elder boulder, and he does, but that was an unfortunate little bit of RNG right there. 7th spit, people are saying. That is truly tough compared to Blue's first spit.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the RNG factors very early game. And but thankfully, even though there is a second Elder Boulder coming up on Blue's screen, on this patch 1.2.21, there is a trick the runners can do that allows them to essentially skip all the spitting nonsense and one hit kill the boulders.
Yep, so you'll see, as you just saw with Blue and as you'll see with Xero coming right up, they just sort of run away where the Elder Boulder is off screen, and it's not out of sheer cowardice. They can simply kill it in one hit because if you can't see it, it can't hurt you. And there you go. Both runners will be heading into Green Path and will be collecting soul very carefully here. It looks like Xero's not going for that first fireball skip as he has no soul to do it with. And they'll be looking to go for these 2 fireball skips coming.
Yep, and as the runners are making their way through Green Pass, we can just enjoy the lovely music that's playing in the background. Blue is coming up to the second fireball skipping place, where we can use those 2 fireballs to follow Hornet and essentially say, no, I do not want to spend 10 minutes walking around this place. I want to go find Hornet.
Yes, and with his enthusiasm, Blue had really nice execution on that skip. We'll see it coming up from Xero right here. Did have to get a little soul from those birds to be good, but it looks like both of the runners will have a very clean shot at that fireball skip. And Blue gets the 3rd fireball skip on his 2nd attempt.
now that the 3 fireball skips are essentially out of the way, there is another little boss arena coming up where we will fight against a Moss Knight, and I believe this is the first place where we'll see the runners go for what's a double fireball, where, oh, it looks like Blue didn't get it, but sometimes you can scare the Moss Knight into jumping back, and during which you can shoot a fireball, and that fireball can double hit. So it can save you a bit of soul, and you don't have to collect as much in the next coming room.
Yes, I mean, I think Moss Knight fans would debate, oh, there's a double for Xero, whether it's fear or simply a tactical backstep, but you do get that really nice double, and Xero will have a nice little soul advantage going into this room. But in the end, it's no big deal. There's plenty of Venge Flies and a very angry Zote. We don't touch this run, hanging
Thankfully.
out. So. Are you a pro saving Zote fan, Virgil?
I don't know, man. See, during my 2 casual playthroughs, because one of them was Steel Soul, I didn't know that I had the option to not save Zote. So I did save him both times, but did I regret my decision? That's a maybe there.
I had the opposite. I found Vengefly King, took 2 masks of contact damage jumping up and trying to hit him, and just neglected Zote for the rest of my playthrough. But now we will see Hornet, and we will be counting those Shaws, hopefully. Virgil and I would like to institute a Shaw count for both runners. But we'll be sort of bullying her into the corner, trying to stagger her on a very quick damage rotation. Looks like a pretty clean fight from Blue.
Was that 2 Shaws?
I believe so, but if somebody in chat could confirm, that would be most helpful. And there's the quit out after this, and I know we didn't quite touch on this, but we've also farmed some Moss Knights for Geo, so we're pretty set for that. We need to get scammed by Oro for our dash slash pretty early in this run, so we can do some special 1-2-2-1 lever skips. But after this, we quit out to Ancestral Mound, where we get hard saved due to picking up VS. So we're able to go down and hop right into Fungal, where we will begin searching for our wall jump.
Yep, and as I promised before, there are bad jokes incoming, and now that our lovely runners have gotten their dash, they are heading into the Fungal Waste for some helping hands.
That was a true work of comedy right there, Virgil. I really don't know how you do it. I mean, it technically is a hand, so I will give you that much, but at least the knight seems to be free-falling without much regard for the walls right now, going through that room with all those inventory drops as we just saw Blue do, and as we'll see Xero do shortly. But yes, shortly as well we will see the Explosion Pogo, which on 1-2-2-1 is a fairly manageable, though certainly tricky maneuver to pull off, and it will allow us to skip a pretty significant portion of the area around Mantis Village.
Yep, E-Pogo is definitely one of the exciting skips you see in all skills, and as we can see, Blue is heading down there, but before we head to the E-Pogo station, there is a little bit more geo-farming that we have to do. There's these 2 little mushrooms here, as you can see on Blue's screen, and he's just gonna quickly fireball them and grab the geo rocks.
I think Virgil, having looked at chat, oh, very nice E-Pogo from Blue. The chat is really pumping us up, showing once again that they are extremely cute, and I think that perhaps for our next time on comms, Virgil and I will devise a chat cute copy pasta to send the love back. But for now, we're seeing very good Mantis Pogo from Blue. That can be a really tough trick right there, and Xero gets his E-Pogo. So really good movement section. Both runners seem to be executing things quite cleanly so far, and holding down the fort.
Yep, absolutely. And as we can see, Xero perform the lovely Mantis Pogo. Looks like he's going for a second try and makes it, which puts him on 1 HP, but that is no problem as both runners will be safe quitting out. And next up, we will be heading towards our one and only Charm Shaman Stone.
Yes, and I mean, that Mantis Pogo, it did look a little dicey. Those Mantises can move in ways you really don't want them to, but in the end, it is much better that he gets it even on one mask because it saves about 15 seconds to be doing that Pogo. And so, yes, you'll see Blue heading towards shops where we will defeat the Octomom, and for some, the first boss of the game, but for us, certainly not, the Gruzmother, and gain access to our Shaman Stone.
Yep. Herm, are you, I think there are ways to skip Gruzmother on just casual playthroughs. What is your opinion on that? Like, should runners, or not should runners, but should normal players that are going through Hollow Nest try to avoid fighting Gruzmother? Because, you know, there are children involved. And
Not aware of the Gruzmother skip. I did have an odd experience once playing Rando where I walked into Gruzmother with Weaver Song, and the Weavers killed her without waking her up. And then her children floated out into the room, and it was a very confusing thing as I could not access shops. But yes, I think that in the end, the moral ramifications of Hollow Knight are made clear to us that by the fact that the first boss is a mother pregnant with 8 children. And so it's one of those try not to think about it things. But Salubra is here, and she's very happy that we have arrived, and we'll purchase our Shaman Stone, which will beef up all of our spells and allow us to get through this entire run without having to think about a single nail upgrade, because those things waste lots of time and we like to go fast.
Even though we did make a joke about Pale Ore, but that is a-okay. And as we see on Blue's screen right now, he is taking intentional damage so that we can perform what we call a shade skip next. So usually in Hollow Knight, you have to have a lot more ability upgrades before you can access the Blue Lake from Salubra's side, but the speedrunners are like, nah, none of that. We're on a time crunch. Let's go to the Blue Lake by stepping on our dead shade.
Yes, and so with that lovely little pogo, we get to go across from shore to shore of Hollow Nest's most beautiful body of water, the Blue Lake. And as you see with that nice dashing, Blue is across his namesake lake quite quickly, and we'll hopefully see, yes, very nice shade skip from Xero as well. So right now we're going to be heading down into the right side of the City of Tears, which is sort of an area we're going to be hopping around a little bit for the next section of the run.
And yeah, speaking of City of Tears, this is, in lore-wise, a city where a lot of rich residents live at. So now we're going to pay some of these rich residents a visit as we gather more geo to buy the Dash Slash.
Yes, we will say hello to the upper class of Hollow Nest with our vengeful spirit, as these folks are worth a lot of money and will help us very much when we head over to Kingdom's Edge relatively soon. But in order to get enough money for that, we do need to say hi to one of the richest members of this city, which is the gorgeous Husk.
Bling bling. Yeah, as the runners head to Gorgeous Husk, there will be a considerable amount of income and, as Herm has mentioned in previous streams, dank, as we receive a lovely 420 geo. The runners here, once again, are looking for those sweet double hits with their Vengeful Spirit fireballs, because it will truly save them a lot of time, yeah.
That was really smooth from Blue. Yeah, brief shout out to Genkar for keeping times. It looks like most recently at Blue Lake entry, they are about 15 seconds apart, 13 seconds apart, with Xero making up some time. But yes, truly blessed chat for doing that. And the gorgeous Husk is dead on Blue's side thanks to that very smooth kill, and now we'll see Xero hopefully pull off an equally clean fight as Blue heads into the Kingdom's Edge.
Ooh.
Unfortunate 2 mass damage.
Yeah, they could be scary, and in some playthroughs, Spellfights could be the first 2 mass damage enemy that you encounter. So, but thankfully, both runners are pretty equipped to dealing with this situation, and as Blue is heading towards the Nail Master, there is once again a little bit more geo farming, which requires soul management from these two runners as they mow down these chains of hoppers and deal with, in some people's opinions, and definitely my own, one of the worst enemies in Hollow Knight, the Primal Aspids.
Yes, I am personally in the Mantis Petra in the first slot, Crystal Hunter on current patch in the second, and Primal Aspid in the third, but they are a terrible thing to deal with. And also with those hoppers, you really need your fireball to get their health down, as if you just go slashing them about with your nail, I believe it takes about 10 hits to kill one, from my personal rando experience. So thankfully, though, with our Vengeful Spirit and Shaman Stone, we can deal plenty of damage and head over to Oro, who charges us a incredibly high 800 geo for his nail art, the only nail master charging us for his services. But we need it for those lever skips.
I know, right? So expensive. But I guess Oro is definitely Sly's favorite if we talk about the business management wise, because the other two just kind of be like, oh, cool, you want a nail art? Here you go.
Yes, it's interesting though in the lore that Oro is Sly's second favorite. So maybe he's trying to get on Sly's good side and sort of move up in the world by being all capitalist and such, whereas Shio is more like, no man, I just want to chill and do art. So maybe he's trying to move up there. So far we're going to be heading up into the upper part of city. We'll go by Watcher's Spire, but we're really not going to interact much there, as our true purpose is to head into Soul Sanctum.
Yep, and this is, as we can see on blue screen, an exclusive skip for 1221 called the lever skips, where we can hit levers through walls, and that allows us to move more quickly. And I believe thanks to Genkar in the chat once again, Xero is shaving down another 3 seconds and putting his distance with Blue at only 16 seconds apart.
Yeah, even with that kind of tough bit of things in the early game, that crazy 7-spit boulder and a few other deals that put Xero pretty significantly behind, he has been playing really, really well, and yeah, Blue does not have any sort of breathing room at this point. He's gotta keep playing beautifully because Xero is certainly on the up and up.
Yep. And as Blue is heading into the Shade Soul room, here we'll see him perform yet another lever skip as he climbs up, charges a dash slash, and slashes the lever through the door.
Yep, and this is a absolutely huge time save that the current patch folks do not get to experience, because normally you would have to go save Sly, go get Shopkeeper's Key to unlock the Elegant Key, which is also a bunch of geo, and then get the Shade Soul by fighting an additional mini-boss. So we just skip all of that and say, nope, we're getting our big upgraded spell, which will be an absolute weapon as we go into Soul Sanctum, because a Shade Soul with a double hit does 80 damage, and that is way more than you are supposed to have fighting Soul Master.
Yeah, it's the power of the void. You can't stop it. Can't stop, won't stop.
Yes, and that was some really fun wall-cling storage from Xero right there, sort of leaping in. And here's the Soul Warrior that we do fight. It drops a whole bunch of geo and is also really no issue for us with that Shade Soul. And now we will head up and be able to enjoy our lever skips as we get to skip through the so-called Hell Room of Soul Sanctum that people hate so very much.
Oh yeah, current patch. I have a lot of respect for current patch runners, honestly, because there is so many more rooms that you have to go through and so many things that you can't skip. But people get it done, surprisingly, and as we can see on blue screen, we are coming up to the Soul Master fight. He is leaving those lovely soul jars on the right side because he will be performing basically 2 Shade Souls that's going to reach the bottom edge, the edge of the screen, and collect those soul jars automatically for him, so that he gets a little bit more soul and about 2 more Shade Souls going into this fight.
Yeah. And I see people in chat mentioning really clean Soul Warrior fight from both of them. And yeah, there's the incredibly fast kill on Soul Master from Blue. That is excellent work right there. And we'll go into the fake out seventh. I say that because Soul Master took me 7 attempts, actually. The fake out second phase. Yeah, Blue got very good RNG on that fight, as well as just really knowing when to get those doubles in and finish off the boss as quickly as possible.
And I've seen the chat Spoofinator asking you and I, Herm, that if we can try the glitch where we defeat Hornet as she's dashing through the air and she will flip upside down. I've definitely seen this glitch on the internet, and yeah, speaking of which, I'm kind of trying to practice all skills, so I will definitely try it out. Thank you for pointing out how to do it. If I get it, I'll share it with this stream.
We do have as well specific rules for certain glitches, like if Hornet gets stuck in a wall, that is a 10-second time penalty, unfortunately. So it is the type of thing where very cool to try out, but also in a no major glitches setting, sometimes those things can be a bit costly. But yeah, chat is remarking Xero got through that fight super quickly. Really, really nice work on his part. And he will grab his Desolate Dive, which is a spell and also a movement ability, and head out, as Blue does the same.
And sadly, I guess something worth mentioning is that getting Desolate Dive is a hard save for both runners. So that's why we're seeing them running through this maze of a corridor again instead of just safe quitting to the bench.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate matter, and we're going to have to confront it several times throughout the game. Because a lot of abilities, since they're so important, the game just decides, yeah, you will stay here and not be able to quit out. But we do what we can in all the situations, and thankfully, City of Tears is an area that we travel pretty frequently, and we'll just be able to head right over to that King Station stag and into the next part of the run.
Yep, and as we are heading for King Station Stag, we are going to have to need a little bit more geo as we see Blue collecting here, because the stag does cost 300 to buy, and it's going to be a very important station for the runners traveling back and forth. Also, as we can see Blue do here, he'll be grabbing a bench on the Water Spire, and this bench is going to be very crucial because let's fingers crossed that commentator curse doesn't come in once again, but there is a really rough area coming up, and both runners will have to navigate through the entire Sea Peaks or Crystal Peaks area without dying.
Yes, and first of all, brief time update from Genkar again. It looks like the runners are approximately 14 seconds apart, I believe. Xero continuing to shave off a little bit of time in that last split. But yes, the runners will now be going into Crystal Peaks, which is somewhere where we have to be really mindful of our movement, as most of the movement in Sea Peaks is based on cycles, but also of our health, because we're going to be seeking to do at the end of this section of the run an early control where we purposefully take damage. And so in order to do that, we obviously can't have no health left, because you can't really get early control if you die. And so hopefully both of these runners will stay strong and not lose too much health, or get off cycle in some of those rooms where it can be really important.
Yeah, there's definitely, as Herm has mentioned, a lot of cycled rooms coming up, and those will be interesting. And there are a few skips that we can see in the cycle rooms, only minor ones, but I think I was watching some of these runners practice before, and I believe Blue is going to go for the Pog X, and that would be interesting to see runners pull off.
The Pog Axe is a very fun, I remembered this from some guide, it says basically a swag strat, only saves a few seconds, but boy does it look cool if you get it. And so hopefully we'll see that, and hopefully, as always, we will see a beautiful underplat from both runners. Really just a fundamental part of the run that we see some good underplat content each time.
Yeah, underplat is definitely important, and as we can see, Blue is...
Is that a bow?
I think that is, yeah. Blue did bow
I hope
for
it's a bow.
Mila, or maybe that was just checking in on Mila, you know, just a usual check-in, which I also do respect.
Is with the knight's emotionless looks, it could be a bow or it could be a threatening stare at the innocent Mila, who nobody should touch this innocent creature who has done nothing wrong. And so hopefully we won't see any Mila killing today, but who knows? And here's the Pogax. He does get it. Very nice. Good work.
Oh, and I see the chat mentioning that Blue is pro Mila. Okay, well, I don't know if that was a relief, but hopefully, yeah, as Herm has mentioned, no Mila kills ever, because Mila is a cute girl and deserves all the attention and respect she can get.
I think that for me, I am sort of pro let Mila be. I'm not like Mila is the best, never touch her, but just don't disturb her is my philosophy. And oh yes, a Pogax or Xero as well. Very good. So both runners are really swagging it up here in Sea Peaks, and you'll see Blue quite soon heading into the Crystal Heart Room, which is very cycle based, and that's where we're going to be hoping for that underplat.
Ooh, looks like Xero tried to go for what we call a god pixel there, where there is essentially one pixel or one frame where it looks like the knight is inside the laser, but the laser doesn't damage them. Unfortunately, didn't get it, but that is a-okay because there are plenty of other time saves, and that is not a major one.
Yes, and Blue looks like ended up on the damageless cycle. Very nice underplat finishing through that room quite well, and we'll pick up Crystal Heart. There is a damaged tank, but I also saw damaged tank cycle, which is marginally faster, but I also saw that Blue got skipped up a little bit there in that first section of platforming, so likely bit of a thing, but Xero will go for that dash slash air stall. Very nice.
Yep, and right after getting I just forgot the name. Yes, Crystal Hearts. The runners will be heading to another heavy platform, and there we see Xero do the underplat as well. Thank you, Xero. We really appreciate it. Yep. The runners will be navigating through a series of crushers and heading towards the crystallized mount for a upgraded version of the Desolate Dive. And we can see that Blue did save the grub on his way out, which is definitely also something I dearly respect.
Yes, so saving the all skills grub is another thing that Virgil and I are strongly in support of. It wastes no time to do so, and it's just a cute little grub you can send home. And as you just saw there from Blue, and as Xero will do quite soon, we just proceeded through our first dark room of the run. We have sort of two sections in the dark. This first Sea Peaks one is short, and then Dark Deep Nest is a bit longer. We don't scrounge up the 1800 Geo for the Lumafly lantern, as it's not a skill, it's an item, and so we just sort of use our muscle memory and our speedrunning skill to get through the dark rooms instead. So here you'll see it from Xero as Blue goes into the early control.
Yep. As Blue dash slashes the ability, he will do a super slide across the floor and descend into the spikes below, and taking that damage will allow the runners to control their characters early and leave the room with like 5-second time save, I believe.
Yes, it is quite nice, and Xero, as Chad is pointing out, was on 2 health right there and did take a heal. Quite the wise choice, because the crystallized mound can really throw some stuff at you, even though these crystal hunters are slowed down on 1-2-2-1. But you really want to have health for that early control, as it is just something that hurts to miss at the end of this segment. You want to just get that time save whenever you can. And people are mentioning with our classic unit of measurement commentary that Genkar and I drummed up last race I commentated. They are 1 crystallized mound apart.
Yep, and as both runners already left Crystallized Mound, the next destination on our tour through Hollow Nest is Dreamnail from the Seer. So, speaking of Dreamnail, I actually had a random shower thought one day, which is, you know how Herm, you know how most spells have a void version or a nightmare version of it?
Yeah, avoid spells.
Yeah. Then would there be a upgraded version of Dream Nail called Nightmare Nail? Just
Oh
something
my
for
goodness. That is like, Virgil, I just want to express to you that that like changes the entire lore of the game to a degree that I don't think anybody's ready for. I mean, we're talking about Silksong, right? We're talking about Hornet's side of the story, but imagine an entire game based on like Grim and the Nightmare Nail. Like that
Yep.
is wow. Virgil asking the deep lore right here. Mossback explain. And there
Mouse
is
back.
Blue picking up his dream nail, and even though the seer tries to play all hard to get throughout this whole section, like, oh, I'm a moth, chase me. We just completely ignore her once she gives us our dream nail and head back to Watcher's Spire where we will fight the Watcher Knights.
Yep, and as the chat mentioned, both of these runners did perform a tiny underplat during that Dream Nail sequence, so another hype from both runners.
Yes, and so here Blue is hitting down that chandelier to kill one of the Watcher Knights in advance. These are our all skills Watcher Knights. Much easier than the any percent Watcher Knights in that we have the beautiful Descending Dark. Really helps out here. The Knights will die in about 2.5 of those, and it makes this fight a lot easier than when you just have VS Shaman in categories like any percent. And it looks like, according to Gencar, Xero lost about 5 seconds in peaks, and they're about 20 seconds apart now.
Yep, and as we can see, Blue is really making good work of these Knights, and Xero is heading into the fight as well. So yeah, as Herm has mentioned before, D-Dark is our lovely speedrunners friends here, and actually I'm gonna save that joke for next time. Next time on speedrunning, you'll hear me say a joke about Descending Dark, but
Yes.
okay, yeah, I'm
Meanwhile, Blue is playing with our hearts on one mask and got quite bad RNG, as Chad is pointing out, but thankfully all you need to do is be alive and head into killing our first streamer, because not too much that can hurt you once you're through the boss, and you'll get a nice health refresh in that cutscene.
And Lurian as our first streamer is definitely an interesting one, because at least on my casual playthrough, just another quick antidote, I had no idea how to find him. I did not know, like, I saw that there is an empty section of the map, and I was just like, huh, I wonder how I get there. Couldn't possibly be getting normally what you would get is a double jump and then getting up the Watcher Spires. No, that can't be it. I'll just go figure something out. I tried to descending dark from like a position that's roughly above the Watcher Spires and tried to do it that way. But yeah.
That is, I mean, they really don't talk about the secret underground entrance to Watcher's Spire. Who knows? Maybe somebody will de-dark a floor, and then the entire category will change as you can avoid the Watcher Knights. And wow, yeah, Chad is pointing out that Xero got the worst possible RNG in his fight there. So truly, the Watcher Knights are showing their bullying capabilities off today, but thankfully both of these runners are seasoned veterans and are not intimidated by one little blink that Lurian can send in their way.
Yep, definitely. And as both runners just swiftly navigated through Watcher Spires, there is another big hype skip area coming up as these runners are heading to get Isma's Tears. There are 3 skips coming up. The first one will be a spike tunnel, and then 2 acid skips after that. Also, as we can see Xero doing here, and as Blue has done before, they're grabbing the Geo chest and essentially stealing the Watcher Knight's entire life savings. This Geo chest is going to support the runners for about pretty much throughout the entire run.
Yes, and you'll see on the other screen Blue getting that spike tunnel on the 3rd try. Very admirable. That is just such a hard skip that requires really precise inputs, but thankfully the next 2 acid skips hopefully will go smoothly, as well as once you're in the grove, you really don't want to mess up there. but it looks like, commentator's cursed as I begin to say that Blue successfully gets through all of the skips. But he gets it on second try and will hit that worm looking for some early control.
Yep. And looks like the early control was successful on Blue's part, as Xero is attempting the spike tunnels once again. Got it on, I believe, his second try. And for Blue, after getting the Musketeers and being hit out of the receiving animation from the worms, he was able to pretty much back out and backtrack his way back to the spike tunnels and head to Wings.
Yes, it is a lot easier when you have Isma's tier to get through the Isma's tier area.
Yeah. And as Chad is mentioning, honoring our lovely co-commentator Herm's measurement system, I would say they're about half a Ismas apart, because Xero did enter Isma's tiers a little bit before Blue exited it, but yeah, they're just that tiny bit closer. And as we can see, the next area, if Commentator Curse doesn't come in, is going to be another pretty tough boss fight coming up.
Yes, and wow, Genkar, it seems that pointing out that Xero has saved 14 seconds.
Wow.
Oh yes, and then the fact that timers aren't synced, so maybe they are full Ismas apart, but they are now notably only 6 seconds apart, which is, I would reckon, certainly less than an Ismas. And you'll see Blue over here. It is at this time that I disclose that I am an incredibly cursed commentator when it comes to Broken Vessel. I really hope that both of these runners will get through the Broken Vessel fight very, very cleanly without a death, but every race I have commentated thus far, there being 3, a runner has died to BV. So I will disclose this now and cross my fingers and hold my breath and provide only commentary that disparages the runner's ability to succeed in the fight.
It's okay, Herm. Maybe today will be... I have faith in both of these runners. They're both seasoned veterans. They can help us break the curse together.
Yes, I mean, frankly, I have no faith in them. I am sure they will have many deaths and, you know, get through the fight with... I'm not even sure what to say at this point, whether to be positive or negative, but the good news is Blue is through that whole mall or hike and heading into the fight as Xero goes through his C dashes. Hopefully no terrible RNG there.
Yep. Broken Vessel is going to be another fight where the runners are going to be performing lots of Descending Darks, as even though Broken Vessel seems to have his own dive ability, we're going to say that ours is better and basically show dominance over him by Descending Dark right on top of him. And as we can see, Blue has successfully cleared the Broken Vessel room with 2 HP.
I think that me and commentary maybe paid off. People are saying that there is lovely RNG, some of the best for Blue, and now we will see Xero do an absolutely terrible job as well, and fail as Blue picks up his Monarch Wings, which is our double jump.
Yeah, no luck for Xero. And as we can see, after getting the wings, Blue will be safe quitting to the bench that he took before heading to the Broken Vessel area, and we'll be saying hi to one of our lovely friends, Hornet, once again, as we're going to be trying to get the King's brand out of her.
Yes, and this is where we will implement our Shaw counterpart to Virgil and I have essentially decided that we're going to count Shaws every race we com, and whoever has the most Shaws between both Hornet fights in their race at the end of this tournament, between matches we've commentated for, we'll find some sort of prize for them. But no death to Broken Vessel. You'll love to see it. 4th time was a charm. Excellent fights by both runners as well. It really attributes itself to their skill. And calm throughout this. So they've really clean and deathless so far. They've had really good execution.
Yep, today is the day where everything changes. Herm, we got this, and the runners got this. Also, Chad, you guys are very supportive. Really appreciate you. Lots of cuties.
Yeah, Genkar seems to be pointing out that Xero may have lost about 10 seconds there. Interesting. It may have just been Blue having insanely good RNG on the Broken Vessel fight, as well as a few other things. But we'll see. Right now, we're gonna, as Virgil has mentioned, we're gonna go say hi after Xero heads out of Hidden Station to our good friend Hornet. She's back, and she's back with a vengeance because she's got some special spider technology going on. She can parry our spells.
Yeah, she has learned, especially for the runners. Oh, looks like Blue will not be taking the camp safety bench and
Very fair.
heading. Yeah, both of these runners have definitely high confidence levels, which is very valid because they are both experienced players. And I'm guessing because during that first Hornet fight, our lovely runners have used too many vengeful spirits on Hornet. Now she has learned her lessons. She's ready. She can now parry in the most special way possible.
Yes, Hornet is tired of our games. She saw that Shade Soul, and she's like, "Hey, I don't get one of those." And so now she's really come to play. But hopefully, Blue and Xero will be able to both get through this fight cleanly. As it is a rather long walk back from King Station without that safety bench. Perfectly reasonable to not take it given their experience level, but it would not be the most fun of times if the safety bench needed to come into play and wasn't there.
Looks like Blue nailed it. Yeah, and that was, I think, 4 shots in total for both this fight and the previous one. I'm not sure about Xero. I might have to go rewatch the VODs, but I will get back to you on that.
And we're both perfectly willing to do that. But yeah, Genkar also putting out that the race is too close. They are 1 Hornet 2 apart. That is a very small unit of measurement, and so it's clear this is not the time for safety struts. Both of these runners are confident and looking to just keep playing as well as possible. But after a super clean Hornet 2 from Blue and what's looking like to be a very nice Hornet 2 from Xero, this race is going to continue to be super exciting.
And now that we've got King's Brand, we won't be using it quite yet because the Abyss will be one of the last destinations that we have on our Hellenist trip. Instead, we'll be going from essentially the very right side of the kingdom when you're looking on the map to the very left side and getting that second nail ability.
Yes, and so we're going to be heading up to Howling Cliffs, where we have Sly's least favorite nail master, Mato, who will give us the Cyclone Slash, which is not the most applicable in combat, simply due to the fact that with no nail upgrades, its damage is not great, and it doesn't really do much else for us, but the good thing about it is that it drops us down really fast, so we will use it for some replacements of inventory drops and such in a few situations.
Yep, and I'm not sure if we'll see it on this stream because the 2 runners are very close to each other, but Helicopter Night is always a pleasure to behold.
Yes, very, very good little nail art storage right there where you can go round and round. But yeah, given the proximity in terms of time between these 2 runners, it's unlikely we'll see a Helicopter Night today, which is very understandable. There are many, many races in this tournament where shenanigans will abound.
Definitely. And I believe her that the Cyclone Slash is actually a decent ability in this run, but it's just very hard to land every single hit on the boss, which is why people prefer spells rather than Cyclone Slash because it's harder to control.
Yes. It is also just so difficult to use. It doesn't, because it involves going around in all directions, and just the ways that you use it requires a lot of precision. I know I had a lot of trouble using Cyclone Slash, or really any nail art, but most certainly Cyclone Slash in my playthrough. So yeah, it looks like they're about 26, 27 seconds apart. So it is a bit of a time loss for Xero here, but continues to be well within the margin of error. Given the rest of this run.
Indeed. And that was a bow from Blue towards the Master, which just bravo.
Bravo, you love to see it. In the end, these nail masters, unless it's Aura who's kind of scamming us, definitely deserve our respect. They're giving us these precious nail arts for free. And yes, that's really, really respectable. And now we're gonna see the now infected crossroads and a trip towards our favorite or least favorite orange jellyfish, Umu.
Yeah, and Umu is another one of the bosses which these runners should have a lot of experience in, but there is a big RNG element where if Umu does decide to give the runners an extra attack, it could be slightly unfortunate.
Yep, and
Also,
hopefully we'll see both of these runners, go for
go
a one cycle setup, which is something that with proper setup you can usually do pretty well, but sometimes Umu can still troll you very hard, and you can lose a good deal of time ending up with a second cycle of attacks.
Definitely. And as we go to Umu, another friend that we'll be seeing is Koro, which sadly we don't get to see a lot in this run, but on a casual playthrough, it really cheers me up whenever I see him around.
Yes, I have heard that there's plans abounding for a all Quirrell locations run, with the good folks in miscellaneous runs figuring things out, but maybe we'll see that at some point. Unfortunately for now, we only see Quirrell pretty much that one time, but he will be helping us out very significantly in this fight, as he is the only one that can pop Umu open.
We're just waiting on that lovely Kasa before the runners spring into action.
Yes, hopefully we will hear that Garamatume sooner rather than later, and not have to deal with slow patterns or an extra attack.
Looks like RNG.
Setup. Yes, and we see those happy nods. That's a great one cycle from Blue. Really nice work on his part. And yeah, super, super clean work right there, and good on the setup. Now we say hi to Monomon, who is the second of our three dreamers. She is the teacher. She does all this science stuff. Apparently she's made all these jellyfish and stuff, but much like my personal persuasion this run, we do hate science, so we kill her and break her seal.
Oh wow, Herm. And I do believe in some of the teacher's archive there are quotes for different literature or old literature things, which I do think you might appreciate. So
I'm a humanities person. I like reading, so that might be concerning. I'm gonna forget that exists, Virgil.
Alrighty.
Because look, science is gone. We did it. And now we're gonna be heading over. Oh, that was a missed one cycle right there. Unfortunate for Xero.
A-okay though. But essentially, for anyone wondering, one cycles basically require the runners to stand on that exact platforms on the right and push Umum into the wall and use that as the damage boost, so that they can get the damage just right and barely be able to kill Umum in one cycle.
Yes, it is unfortunate for Xero right there, but thankfully a 2 cycle is something that can be worked with. If it went to more cycles than that, then you'd start being concerned. And with this next part of the run going through Dark Deep Nest and Queen's Gardens, 2 areas that are really no joke, there is plenty of time for the tide to turn in this race.
Yep. Cue the scary dark room and Mantis Petra music.
Yes. And so right now we will see Blue heading back into Fog Canyon with its, as I've mentioned in earlier races, its wonderful enemy variety. There are so many different enemies in Fog Canyon. You got big jellyfish and little jellyfish, and holy cow, Blue on one mask. Stay healthy there, buddy. But first, before we do any sort of Dark Deep Nest stuff, we've got to head over and say hello to our third and final Nail Master, Nail Master Shio, who will give us Great Slash.
Yep, and Great Slash is another I guess, cool ability in this run, but sadly we only get to see it once, where essentially when the runners are dropping down from dirt mouse into the well below, they can use the nail ability to get early control. But on a casual playthrough, especially if people are attempting Coliseum, I definitely would recommend Great Slash because it kills most of the enemies in one hit.
Yeah, it is very nice, and as somebody who's probably going to be doing a little Colo 1 run for a certain Discord role soon, it is useful. And yeah, Chad is pointing out 1 versus 2 cycle on Umu is quite big. We did probably downplay that a little bit. Yeah, it is unfortunate as they are now almost a minute apart here. But we will still be hopeful that the race will finish out nice and close, and that we'll at least see a good time for the runners. And here's Blue rolling up to Shio's place.
Yep, and Shio is absolutely lovely soul. Once again, unlike Oro, he decided that, oh, you want to learn how to paint? Yeah, sure, I'll teach you. And just, I'm hoping that we'll see another bow here from Blue, and that would be definitely very hype.
Yes, that is a most excellent bow. We love to see it from Blue. Really respecting all of the beautiful creatures of Hallownest today. Most joyful. An excellent occasion, and hopefully Xero will do the same, though I'm not really sure if his bowing has been as up to snuff recently.
That is a-okay. Bowing is one of the added bonus, and it's definitely exciting when you see one.
Yes. And folks are pointing out that with Blue's consistency and such, it will be very hard, Sylvie specifically saying it will be very hard to get a comeback, and that is quite true. At this point, barring some serious crazy errors or a death, it does seem like Blue is in a pretty good spot here, but truly with this run you never know. We will just hope that as well Blue is probably racing for a decent time here. I know his PB is quite good, so it may not be a PB simply due to race settings and such, but yeah, people are saying a sibling climb death or something would equalize them, and that is quite likely that it's going to take something big like that at this rate.
Yeah, definitely. And as we can see Blue heading into another small arena with a lot of mesquites, he's going to be trying to clear this arena as fast as possible to receive our last basic spell ability called Howling Wraith. And as we saw, he kind of performed there. Shade Souls do get rid of those enemies quite well in one hit.
Yes, it is one of the more confusing arenas in the game, as why are there so many squits? Because they're just hanging out in the overgrown mound, they're just having a great time, but we get rid of them, unfortunately, as we need a spell. But now we will see a fun lever skip into Queen's Gardens, which is an area that I personally struggled a lot in due to the platforming, but these runners are going to go through very fast and do some fun little tricks along the way to move even faster than the developers initially imagined.
Yeah, well, but speaking of developers, Team Charity, where is that Silk Song coming? I'm sorry, definitely not my inner turmoil and one of the things that keeps me up at night.
Well, like we've said, why Silksong when see Hornet many times running Hollow Knight all skills? I mean, that is truly the goal. And as you just saw Blue do right there, we can use some nice hazard respawn with those thorns and sort of end up downstairs and skip a bunch of platforming, which allows us to get into deeper parts of Queen's Gardens. That is quite nice.
Yep, and the room after this one will be one of the other dark rooms that Herm and I have mentioned before. Ooh, looks like Blue took a fall there, but he recovers quite well. And dark rooms in Deepness are definitely no joke. And as some people in chat is mentioning, a death here could mean a really long walk around. So
yes, considering our bench is back at the teacher's archives, the walk back is not fun at all. Additionally, falling in Dark Deep Nest or in any dark room will set your respawn at the start of the room, And that also means that a lot of those spike floors and things that come out from under your feet in Deep Nest can sort of just stop. They are gone. They are not going to fall under your feet. And you will have to deal with a slightly harder version, but it looks like it's been pretty clean for Blue so far, which is good news considering his lead and also how well he's been playing this whole time.
Both runners are pretty much executing the runs and all the commands at perfect levels, so fingers crossed. I mean, commentator curse, so I hope they mess up.
Yeah. I mean, people are mentioning, yeah, that was a hitless Dark Deep Nest right there from Blue. He will continue to do a terrible job as he hops up into Beast Den through this nice little shortcut that I learned about from watching Hollow Knight being run at AGDQ. Really, really convenient and allows us to skip half of the area, which is really, really great because we don't have to deal with the trap bench cutscene and we're only saying hi to one devout, which we can quickly extinguish with our spells.
And now that Blue is heading in to meet the last streamer, Hera, or Hornet's mom, and well, if this were any percent speedrun, we would be dashing our way towards THK by now. But this is all skills, and before we head to DHK, the runners will have to make another detour into the abyss, and we're coming up on some hard platforming sections such as the abyss climb, but at the same time we're also coming towards the other knock knock joke that Herm and I have prepared.
Yes, second knock knock joke. And we'll see, once again we have to head out of Beast Den the long way due to that hard save that we get. Really nice Dark Deep Nest from Xero as well there, but we'll be buying the Distant Village Stag, which will let us head on out and back to Hidden Station, which is going to be sort of our access point for the Abyss.
Yep, and using Herm's measurement once again, Xero and Blue are currently about one beast den apart, despite a slight bit of timer difference.
Yes, so there's probably a bit more, but it seems like Slorn is pointing out in chat that in Blue's PV, he is 3 seconds lower than he is right now at Hera, so this could be a really, really good time for Blue, and we will certainly be cheering for that here, because in the end, we would love to see a race PB today, as you always love to see it. So best of luck to Blue in the Abyss, or, as we're still not sure, worst of luck, perhaps.
Yep, now that we are coming up on the Abyss door, I guess I can start the knocking here. Knock knock!
Who's there?
Abyss!
Abyss who?
Sorry, I forgot the punchline.
Swing and Abyss.
Wow, such abysmal. Thank you again to Sloren, by the way.
Yes, with our abysmal joke. Yeah, it is. I really liked that one when I went through the list of them. I just love Swing and Abyss. And yeah, people mentioning Xero is making up some time, but unfortunately it's probably not going to be enough to close that gap unless there's a terrible death here on the sibling climb, which, to use Quacksilver's words, is very momentum based. If you start getting hit, it can start looking bad, but even though he took a hit right there, it looks like Blue will have a clean trip up the lighthouse.
Yep. Lighthouse is definitely one of the scarier areas because siblings do not give you any soul when you hit them, and they also take 2 HPs, but for the runners it's mostly no problem, and we're definitely glad to see Blue just swinging his way across the entire climb because he is on PB pace, and let's cheer him on.
Yes, and I see folks shouting out Slorn for his amazing joke. It is fantastic, and thanks to those who said we had good delivery, we'll be continuing to provide these jokes throughout the tournament, and we are very excited for some of the ones we have in store. Blue right there just got his Shade Cloak, which is sort of our dash, but now with iframes. And we do have to go back because we are hard saved there, but we also save and quit because it saves the time of not watching that little cutscene of the knight being like, oh boy, now my cloak is void. Sorry, Hornet. I sort of just upgraded my Mothwing cloak that I got from you, and it's not even cool anymore. So
Yeah, just taking a void bath. You know, sometimes we do need that nice little bath. As we can see, Xero,
oh,
on
one
1
mask.
HP.
Quite scary, but
He did it.
yes, I was about to say it looks like he'll make it out, and then I was like, no, Herb, stop there for a second. Maybe just don't say it. And then yes, even on one mask, he should be okay from here. At least we're hoping. And Blue will now pick up his Abyss Shriek.
Yeah, and as Durixian is mentioning in the chat, Blue is about 2 seconds ahead of his PV. So this could be it, chat. We could be witnessing history here.
Yes, people saying this comes down to Abyss Climb and THK RNG. Yeah, Xero is absolutely right. It is going to be interesting to see how Blue's Abyss Climb goes. It's one of those things where the hazard respawn can absolutely bully you, as it can respawn you on the floor when you're like a third of the way or halfway up. But hopefully it will go well. And then, yeah, THK is one of those bosses that can sometimes they will just ask you to hit them, and then other times they will stand there and parry and laugh at you as your PB goes down the drain.
Luckily, Blue did land there, so the hazard respawn wasn't too mean to him. But yeah, definitely, as Herm mentioned before, Hornet 2 and THK are the two bosses where they have a tendency to either bless or ruin a runner's day by parrying a lot.
Yes, and so we will hope that those parries won't be too terrible, but in the end it is all about blessing that RNG, as Blue does make it out of the Abyss quite cleanly despite that one hit he took right there. That was tough, but thankfully not a respawn on the floor, and Xero will be picking up his Abyss Shriek right now as well.
Yep, and as Blue just got into the stack, there is only one more place for the runners to go. Drum roll, please. Yes, you got it. It is THK. And I guess THK will be... Oh, looks like Blue is taking a safety bench there, which is or not a safety bench, because it does automatically bench you at THK, but taking a bench there doesn't really waste any time, and it restores all of your health, so that is definitely a respected move.
Yes. And in the end, at this point, when it's just going to come down to RNG, you see him just very, very sure, not going for any little storage shenanigans right there. He is going for it and hoping that this RNG will be good, because it will be very close. People are saying about 1.5 seconds behind heading into Dirtmouth. So yeah, we will hope for the best as Xero makes his way up to the top of the Abyss and ignores Hornet. Heading out. Still really good work from Xero despite those various setbacks. I mean, both runners have had a very clean, deathless run, which is something you'll love to see. And I'm seeing the Hollow Ds in chat. Yes, spam Hollow D so this man can PB. We will hope for the best as we say hello to THK.
And unlike any percent where runners will be hoping for THK to do that dash as much as possible, we actually would like THK to stand around a bit more, because we are using the Abyss Shriek as Blue is demonstrating here. Oh, and looks like Xero is talking to Elderbug, which is great.
That is a move you love to see. Much appreciated. I saw somebody really in chat highlighting a message of why did they not talk to Elderbug? For the speed, sure, but I think that is the most admirable way to finish off a race. You're behind, and you love to see it.
Yeah, definitely.
There's the fourth screen. Given that Blue's PB, I believe, is something 52:48, it will be like right on the dot. But big GG's to Blue, and a really well played race. Especially in a race setting, you know, where you can't just sort of reset and get things set up exactly as you want, where you have the pressure of competing against an opponent this is to be this close to your PB is incredibly admirable. And while it's sad that it didn't work out RNG wise and in those little time saves, it is very respectable work.
Definitely, especially, yeah, like her mentioned, the race nerfs, and also just the fact that constantly knowing someone is on your tails and sometimes maybe not able to go for safety strats because the two runners are so close together and literally seconds apart.
Yeah, I mean this is really a show from both runners of just really good execution. It is this is a race that is no joke. This category can provide you with some incredibly tough luck and tougher skips. So the fact that both of these runners have played this well is just so admirable and just a testament to how hard they work to develop their skills this way.
Yeah, and looks like Xero is on 1 HP, just playing with our audience hearts. You know, gotta get that heart rate up before the race comes to an end.
Yes. Well, with that fourth scream, you should be able to get through this. And yeah, taking a heal, very wise. And with that, he will finish off THK with a nice Cyclone Slash and working towards spells and stuff. And yes, there we go. That's GG's for Xero. So once both of them are truly wrapped up, we will call them in for a post-race interview. If you have any specific questions for them, feel free to put them in chat and we will relay them to the runners.
Also, I will mark blue as done. Because
Yes.
I forgot to do that, but yeah. It should be done now.
Fabulous.
Definitely GG's in the chat, and as I can see on my screen, blue is ready to join, and Xero will probably join us in a bit as well.
Yes. Yeah, people are asking, how did the runners get so cute? We're really not sure, but they are quite cute, as well as the chat is. And yeah, truly this came down to, people are talking about, it came down to that Umu and Hornet too. It was really tough, and sometimes races will come down to that, but in the end, I think that we really got a lot of great content today. We got to see good chat with Elderbug. We got to see some excellent performances. There's really nothing to complain about in this race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the grubs were saved, and we also got to see bows, which is very respectful. I was just wondering if those bows, I don't think it would have mattered that much, but if those bows costed blue a PB.
I would definitely doubt it. I mean, that is such a minuscule amount of time. I feel that in the end, when you're looking at a race that is so close to PB in terms of time, you can say that pretty much anything cost you a PB. And I really just think that, yeah, Ollie's saying it's 3 seconds to bow to all three and then for the bow to Mila. I mean, it would be close, but also I feel like you can blame 4 seconds on anything.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But it's all good. Also, I see people mentioning, thank you guys, Chad, for complimenting the jokes. And if you have any brilliant ideas, we would love to have you. And both Herm and I are on the Holiday Discord, so feel free to send us jokes, DMs us jokes, and we'll definitely credit you afterwards.
Yeah, ping us, message us, say hi. Blue sitting with Elderbug. You really love to see it. This has just been a wholesome race all around. Virgil, did you mark Xero is done?
Oh, I will do that. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Sylvie, for pointing out our little confusion right there. That'll do it. Yes, so we'll welcome our runners in.
Yep.
And say hi.
Both of them should be joining us in a second.
Hey folks,
Hello.
big GG's, Xero. Looks like Blue will join soon. Yeah, what a graph, holy cow.
Yep. Looks like Blue might be AFK, but okay.
Oh, here we
Hi,
go.
Blue.
Big GG's, guys.
GG's.
GG.
Yep.
GG Xero. That was a pretty close race, all things considered, I feel like.
Yeah, that was disappointingly close until Umu, and then I kind of messed it up.
You got completely screwed over by RNG in the beginning, right? You got like a 7th spit or something. That's so unfortunate.
Like, I have to say, I don't feel good saying it because I did make a lot of mistakes as well, but a lot of my time loss in that run was just to RNG, and there's not much you can do about that.
Yeah,
No,
for
I mean,
sure.
it's certainly true.
It wasn't just the spits. I got bad Moss Knight RNG. I got really, really bad RNG on Broken Vessel as well, and on Hornet 2. Hornet 2 was awful to me.
Yeah.
I got like 1 double the entire fight, and she kept playing. It was, yeah.
Yeah, chat said that you got the worst possible Water Knights RNG as well, so I think that the game
that was
really
really
determined
bad.
it was gonna bully you today.
I mean, I think Blue would have still won based on the 1 cycle and better movement at the end, but it would have been insanely close without that.
Yeah, and I feel like generally I had a lot better RNG than you for sure. And I think the only place where my RNG was kind of bad was really like maybe Watcher Knights and Hornet 2 were pretty awful for me, I'd say. But the rest was just kind of okay, and I kind of went with it, and it ended up fine. But I didn't get like completely screwed over by RNG as you were.
Yeah, Watcher Knight was definitely not playing nice for anyone today, and neither was Hornet 2. In my opinion, at least, you guys both handled the RNG really well. It was just Hollow Knight was being mean today.
Yeah. And no one had any deaths, which was really nice to see as well. Like, neither me or Xero died on any fights, which, you know, tournament nerves, it happens. I was, like, freaking out at the start. I was really nervous. And I'm surprised I didn't die, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, both of you guys
really
played
nice.
fantastically. Frankly, like the skips and such, the execution was really clean. And just, yeah, honestly, a lot of this stuff came down to just bosses being mean and general bullying. Oh yes, there's a question from the chat. I think that people are wondering what your favorite boss and oh no, is this Mila?
Oh.
Xero, are you going for Mila? Oh
Zero?
my.
No, of course I'm not.
I may or may not have the right to
disappointed in you.
disqualify. Oh. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I was gonna
That was
say.
really-
We're just gonna watch her suffer like this.
What?
Okay, I don't like it when you put it that way.
I know. I thought this was about what.
Yeah, I feel like boss RNG was definitely not the best for either of us today. Like THK did not want me to PB.
Yeah. No,
I came
that
out
was
of Abyss Climb 2 seconds behind, and the THK just started parrying and parrying and parrying, and I was like, yeah, I'm not getting this PB. I'm overall pretty happy with my run though. So I was 20 seconds ahead at points as well, but I lost it all at Isma.
And I guess wait, Herb, do you want to take this? Go ahead.
No. Are you asking questions from the chat?
Yeah, just going back
you ask them. Go ahead.
Okay, just going back to Spoofinator's question about so yeah, Xero and Blue, what are your favorite bosses and NPCs in the game?
NPC, maybe either Curl or Mila. Mila when she's all happy, and so, because I love her, and I never would want to hurt her. But boss? I don't know. It's probably like Sisters of Battle, but Radiance with like True Ending equipments is really fun to do, so that's one that's up there as well. And then, you know, the usual Pure Vessel, etc, etc. But I don't really have like a definite favorite in terms of bosses.
Yeah, I definitely respect the Sister of Battle. I was really excited when I found that out too. Xero, what about you?
I'd definitely say Pure Vessel is my favorite boss. If we're like just talking like the base game stuff, then Lost Kin would be that. NPCs is harder though. Maybe I guess.
Oh, no, that is a good choice. You love to see the snails represented.
That's a pretty good choice, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe there's another question asking what your favorite segment of the run is. I'm guessing that would mean like not today, but just in general when you're practicing all skills. What is your favorite segment or split?
It's not Sanctum. It's not Sanctum. No one likes Sanctum. It's probably when practicing, Abyss Climb is probably the most fun thing to practice, but Crystal Peaks in general is up there. There's a lot of cycles and a lot of cool movements. It completely destroys your hands when practicing, though, if you do it for too long, but it's fun. It's fun.
Definitely. Xero? I'm not sure. Also, I guess there's another question the chat is asking, which is, what are your opinions on Zod?
It's complicated. He's he's not a very good person. But then again, the Grey Prince Zod boss fight and the regular Zod boss fights, I don't know if you can call that one a boss fight, but you know, like those might be the best fights thematically. Like if you have the music, the animations, like the entire like style and like the charm that those fights have, because they're really really good and they're really funny. And maybe not mechanically, but they're excellent in like a sense of humor. So I'll give him some credit there, but also he's kind of mean, and I don't like him.
Yeah,
That is
Truth,
very
Beauty,
fair.
and Hatred may be one of my favorite songs in general. And it's just such a good track. But so does I want to say human. So does a bug. Is yeah. Más o menos probably would not choose to interact with on a regular basis.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if Xero is still with us or...
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Hello. Yeah, Xero, do you have any opinions to share on Zod or, I guess, segment in the run?
Oh, did I not pop up? Was I
Oh.
like glitching out then?
Yeah, a little bit, I think.
Oh, sorry. I did answer the segment one. That there's nothing really that I like too much. I would say Dash Slash maybe, because I quite like the like geo collection aspect. Like just moving through rooms isn't all that interesting to me, but moving through rooms while trying to kill enemies and collect geo at the same time is a bit more interesting to root. And for Zoe, I absolutely hate him.
Fair enough. Yeah, you have a point about great, like the hopper section. That one is pretty fun, and like when you get it perfectly, it's like really nice to execute.
Definitely. Well, Chad, do you guys have any other questions? And Herm, do you have any other questions?
I personally don't. I'd just like to say big congrats to all you folks. Even if this run had some terrible bullying RNG, it was a treat to watch and to commentate. And oh, I suppose yes, we'll do one more question. Spoofinator would like to know what your favorite Pantheon and Coliseum of Fools trials are.
Pantheon, I mean, there's only 5 to pick, so I can pretty easily say it's Pantheon 5, just because it's like... Actually, maybe not. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna say it's Pantheon 5. Maybe Pantheon 4, because it's like more concentrated, difficult bosses, while Pantheon 5 has like a whole 20 minutes of like waiting and doing a bunch of easy bosses until you get to the really fun ones. And for Colosseum, it's not Colosseum 3 because that has frog RNG. I don't like Colosseum 3. That one is quite mean. It might be Colosseum 2. Colosseum 2 has some pretty nice movements. It does have the Oblobbles though, and I don't like them because they're also RNG. But generally, they're Colosseum 2 is pretty fun.
I really like Pantheon of the Night. I think that's the one I choose, just because of Pure Vessel mostly, and Colo 2 as well. I think because it's like it's not too long, and it's quite fun to optimize that one. Like the first Colosseum is actually quite annoying to run.
Yeah, that is quite fair. Okay, one more and then yeah, we will sign off. You can only save one, Mila or Nailsmith.
Mila. I'm sorry, Nailsmith, but Mila is blessed. But Nailsmith is also pretty good, so it's gonna be in between those two. I'm just gonna choose not to answer. Oh gosh, sorry. I'm gonna choose not to answer. I am not answering. Both is my answer.
Yeah, I wouldn't kill either of them.
That is the correct answer. I respect that the most. The chat seems to vote for the Nailsmith pretty substantially. So yeah, if you folks have anything else to say, you're welcome to. Otherwise, we'll wrap things up.
All right, I just gotta say, big GGs to you, Xero. That was a lot of fun, and thank you, Comms, for commentating. I'm gonna actually watch it back because I heard rumors of knock jokes.
There are knock jokes.
I'm deliberately not gonna watch it back. I do not want to hear that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah,
Very
thank
fair.
you for hosting us today, and of course, our SpeedGaming volunteer. Thank you for all your help, and everyone for watching. Thank you so much. That's all I have to say, really.
Yeah, thank you all of you. I feel really bad about that race. I didn't like that performance at all, but you did a great job, Blue, and thank you, Comms, and thank you, SpeedGaming. Looking forward to the next one, I guess.
Definitely for well, thank you both runners, and as the runners said before, thanks SpeedGaming, and I guess this will be where we wrap it up.
Yes. So thank you to everybody for being so extremely cute in watching / commentating / participating in this race. And we'll see you